This tutorial is for 3rd grade, Module 2, Lesson 3. In Lesson 3, we will continue to look at time, only we will extend it into looking at minutes, as well as groups of 5 minutes. The directions say to draw lines to match the clocks to point the points on the number line. One has been done for us. The clock showed 7:28. And you can see on our number line that it starts at 7 p.m. and ends at 8 p.m. Increments of 10 minutes have been shown on the number line, and you can see the divisions showing our 5 minutes in between each of those as well. In order to find 7:28, I can go to 7:20, think about that jump of 5 to take me to 25, and then 3 more jumps, 26, 27, 28. So that's why 7:28 lines up at this point on the number line. If I look at my first clock, it's after 7 o'clock. If it were on the 3, that would be 7:15. It looks like it's about 2 minutes past that though, so that would be 7:17. If I find the 15-minute point and move it 2 spaces over, here would be 7:17. So that would match this clock. The next clock says 7:03. That just means 3 minutes past the 7 o'clock hour. So I'll start at the 0 point showing the 7 o'clock hour and count over 3 spaces. There's 1, 2, 3. So that's my 7:03 point. The next clock is about 4 minutes before 8 o'clock. Another way to look at that would be 7:56. So I'm going to find the 7:56. Here's 50, 55. One more spot would be 7:56. So I'll draw those to connect that clock to that point. In this clock, I'm also after the 7 o'clock hour. My minute hand is past the 8. Well, if it were directly on the 8, that would be 7:40. If I'm maybe 2 minutes past the 8, I would say 7:42. I'll find the 42 point on the number line. Here's 40, 41, 42, and I'll match that clock to that point on the number line. In the next section, we're going to draw the hands on the clocks to match the times. The first question says, Jesse woke up this morning at 6:48 a.m. Well, 6:48 is getting pretty close to 7 a.m. When I put my hour hand in, then I want the hour hand to be closer to the 7 than it is to the 6, since it's getting pretty close to 7 o'clock. So I'll draw my hour hand in. Now I have to find 48 minutes for my minute hand. Well, halfway around the clock would be 30. I can skip count by 5s then. It would be 35, 40, 45, 46, 47, 48. So my minute hand needs to be pointing at that minute mark on the clock. That shows us 7:48 a.m. The next question, it says Mrs. Barnes starts teaching math at 8:23 a.m. Well, 8:23 means it's after 8 o'clock, but it's still closer to 8 o'clock than it is to 9 o'clock. So we'll make our hour hand a little bit closer to the 8 than to the 9. Now let's find 23 minutes. Again, we can skip count. It would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 21, 22, 23. So the minute hand needs to point to the 23 mark on my clock. This clock now shows 8:23. Here it says that the clock shows what time Rebecca finishes her homework. What time does Rebecca finish her homework? If I look at the clock, it's in between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock. So since it isn't quite 6 o'clock, we'll start with the 5. Now let's figure out how many minutes past 5 it is. If I can skip count by 5s if I need to. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 26, 27. Looks like it's at 5:27 or 27 past 5. Now I'm just going to make the assumption that it's in the evening, could be in the morning I guess, but I'm going to put PM just to take a guess that it's in the evening. The last section says the clock below shows what time Mason's mom drops him off for practice. What time does Mason's mom drop him off? So if I look for my hour hand first, it's in between 3 and 4 o'clock, very close to 4 o'clock, but it isn't quite 4 o'clock yet. So we'll say 3 o'clock. And to figure out how many minutes, well, if all the way around the clock is 60 minutes, I'm going to go backwards. So if this is 60, I'll say 59, 58, 57, 56. So it looks like 3:56 or 56 minutes past 3 o'clock. And again, we'll assume that that's in the afternoon or PM. And the last question says Mason's coach arrived 11 minutes before Mason. What time did Mason's coach arrive? So we need to move this minute hand back 11 minutes. Well, I can jump back 1 minute. That would take me right on the 11. And then I can do a bigger jump of 10 minutes. And that would put me on the 9. Now, that means that this minute hand would be pointing to the 9. Well, what time is that? Well, I can see it's 15 minutes before 4 o'clock or 45 minutes after 3 o'clock. So Mason's coach arrived at 3:45 p.m. and that's 11 minutes before Mason arrived.